Welcome back, everybody, to Crows of Judgment. And I found this fascinating article on Bounty into Comics. But before we jump into that, I've mentioned this several times. This is the Shonen Jump Viz website. As you can see here, they have all their latest chapters available. And you can see I'm not logged in, so I'm not using any type of account. But I can click on these, right? And I have the very first chapter available to read for free. It's not even that. When you go to more popular series like One Piece, because it's got 1,000 chapters, they give you the 3 most recent ones you can read completely for free. And then if you join to read, the total cost is $1.99. You have 1 week free. It's $2. And then you have access to the entire back catalog from Shonen Jump. It is a massive, massive value that they give you. And some would say it doesn't actually make all that much sense when you're giving people so much and all you're getting back is literally $2. But Shueisha editor explains popularity of manga is important for achieving animation, stands directly in contrast to statements made by Marvel boss Kevin Feige. I think it's an interesting comparison, but to be clear, we're comparing manga sales translating to animation, so anime series, anime movies, versus comic book sales generating interest for the MCU, the Marvel universe. And when you take a look at what's happening with manga sales and how accessible they've made manga to the US market, it actually makes a ton of sense, right? If you know that these series are massively popular, like in the United States where there's a massive audience for it, then you would obviously want to make an anime series because there's going to be an immediate audience for it. So they're using these apps, they're using that great value deal to see what people are actually interested in. It's generating more manga for people to read on top of it because they need more content. And whatever is the most popular, you'll get an anime for it. Chainsaw Man. And I think there's actually an image that they put. Yeah. Chainsaw Man, right? This right here is getting an anime after the massive popularity and success of its manga sales. Jujutsu Kaisen, same thing. Them wearing the shirt. The manga was very, very popular, and so they went ahead and made an anime series for it. Now, when you look at the MCU, that's where it becomes a little different, right? And I mean, we pretty much covered what they're saying here for the manga side of things. Let's jump in talking about some of the statements by these manga are so good. God damn it. I'm just cycling through all this stuff. I'm like, look, this stuff looks so good. It really does. I've been really liking Kaiju number 8 too, which is again available on the Shonen Jump app. So all these series are incredible. Now, I want to focus on when we talk about the Kevin Feige stuff, because this is where it's like a complete contrast to what they're doing in Japan. Well, Momiyama's comments reveal that the manga publisher follows a customer-focused development pipeline, choosing which series to support and promote based on their acclaim amongst fans. Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige told Men's Health last year that rather than a character's popularity, the greatest factor in whether or not they received a film or TV adaptation was how great their potential was for becoming a cool movie or series of movie. Now, this is very, very, very telling, because in Japan, what they're doing is they're making manga as accessible as possible for people, generating all of this buzz and attention. Manga sales are through the roof because people are buying the collected volumes on top of it. And then they're saying, what's the most popular? That's what we need to turn into an anime and potentially, more like animated movies, things like that, right? Marvel's thought process is, I don't care if the character can't sell a single fucking comic book. If it's an interesting idea, let's turn it into a movie. Now, I mean, there have been times where I think you could say that it's been a hit and it's been a miss. For the MCU, I guess the biggest hit would be like Guardians of the Galaxy. The comics did not sell very well. They weren't very popular characters. They weren't, these mainstream Marvel comic book characters. They were very niche, and the movie did incredibly well. A miss, I guess you would say, would be something like Captain Marvel, where the comics are not popular, right? There's not that big of an interest in the character. She had only been Captain Marvel for a very small period of time in the comics. They gave her a movie. The movie was not well received. And I think part of that is, and it did do well, they kind of told you had to see the movie to understand what was going to happen in the Avengers film, which was a total lie, a whole bunch of other stuff. But it is interesting to me that rather than making comic books more accessible for people so that Marvel can figure out who is interesting, who do people like, who's the character that we need to promote, they don't give a shit, right? They're just like, it doesn't matter. If it's a cool idea, we'll figure out a way of turning it into a movie. I mean, again, I can point to successes with that mentality. I can point to failures with that mentality. But I think Japan is doing the right thing. They are directly listening to their customers, and they're doing it in a very interesting way. They're not sending out like opinion polls. They're not going to Twitter and looking at what trends are happening on there. They are making their content more accessible for everyone. And then they're using that to figure out what are people actually willing to spend their money towards. That is a brilliant business decision. I mean, that should be how Marvel is running things. Why won't Marvel, why won't DC do an app, right? And give us the entire back catalog that they have. The entire back catalog, not just a few editions here and there, not just a few comic books here and there, right? Give us everything, make the cost low, and then look at what people are actually reading. If you know nobody wants to read fucking Batwoman, stop putting out the Batwoman TV show. Maybe Batwing is more popular. Maybe do Batwing because there's going to be more popularity for that character. And if you make your comic books more accessible to everybody, then you're going to have more interest not only in your publishing arm, but also in your fucking films. It's ridiculous to me that there is a stranglehold on comic books happening right now by these studios where they have access to this just giant fucking IP mill, but they can't seem to figure out what to do with it. It is flat out ridiculous to me. It seems like Marvel and DC for the longest time, I guess Warner Brothers, have been like choking the ever loving shit out of their publishing arms, right? Like they just don't seem to care. They produce actual shit like that I Am Not Starfire book, right? I can't figure it out. Clearly, Japan knows what they're doing. That's why manga sales are insane. Manga sales are outpacing comic books when they are far more accessible for a much lower cost. And yet people are still buying the physical volumes because they're just so popular. I mean, if fucking Marvel or DC had any common sense, that's what they would do. Except, I mean, I kind of feel like the reason why they wouldn't do that is because then there would be like undeniable fucking proof that their shit that they are publishing is not popular, and they might be forced to correct themselves. But I don't know. I thought this is interesting. I want to rant about it. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section below. But god damn, like, how does Japan know how to fucking do this shit so fucking well? And the United States is just like shitting all over themselves to produce actual fucking trash. And one final thing though, because I thought this was great. Further, just 1 month prior to that interview, Feige told Variety that Eternals' potential for forced diversity was the reason it was placed on top of Marvel's development priority list. Nobody was interested in Eternals. Nobody cared about the Eternals. The Eternals are the nichest of fucking nichest of nichest fucking properties that Marvel has. And they put it at the very top of the fucking list. I mean, this is a way better miss than Captain Marvel is a big miss, because they only did this for the forced diversity that they could shove down everybody's throats. That's not saying he's talking about. The notion of switching up the gender, sexuality, and ethnicities of the characters for the comics was baked in initially. This is part of what Nate Moore was really advocating for in moving Eternals to the top of the list for us to start working on. Marvel's lost the fucking plot. Look at this. Jujutsu Kaisen 0, the movie, has bigger box office take in 11 days than any live action film in 2021. I mean, the Jujutsu Kaisen movie. That's goddamn. All right, so let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I think we can see why comics are failing so fucking spectacularly. The people in charge have no fucking clue what they're doing.